Welcome to the My Generation podcast. This is Max Barrett speaking to you loud and proud from Canterbury Christchurch University.
Thanks, Dan, and that's the intro.
Dear, shit,
Dan nearly fell over the new set.
I fell over nothing.
Welcome back, everyone. This is how we're introing this show. So this week on the My Generation podcast,
Dan falls out of a chair 10 times.
It's Dan Inwood back on the show. How are you, Dan?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very, very good. And we've got a brand new sound for the show. Obviously, we've got this brand new mic setup. You've seen every iteration of the podcast, and as it keeps growing.
I have. This is the fanciest version I've seen yet.
So on this week's episode of the show, once again, it's returning wonderful guest. It's Daniel Inwood.
Hello.
And this week we're talking about travel, but obviously these are also life update episodes, every 13 episodes of the show. So Dan, what have you been up to this quarterly?
I went to Norway. That was cool. That's
nice.
The main thing. And since then, I can't remember 10 minutes ago. What happens in the last 3 months? You tell me. Tell me about my life.
Well, we did the Christmas special.
Yes.
And then we celebrated New Year's together.
We did.
And
As a loving family.
I didn't see it. New Year's was pretty
That's
great.
not making it in.
No, I think that is making it in.
It's tradition, ladies and gentlemen, that I have to be sick for every one of these podcasts, and I have lived up to that so
I don't
far.
think you've been well. You're always well for every bit that's between them.
Absolutely.
And then conveniently.
Yeah, for the quarterly update. I get sick 4 times a year, and it's when the podcast is recorded.
Exactly. But he always makes it. He always soldiers through.
This is true.
So you said you've been to Norway.
Yes.
Tell me more about what that was like.
Incredibly expensive. That's the main thing that sticks out. It was cold. It was like 3 to 5 degrees. It was incredibly windy. The visibility never really got above like a few miles. It was always kind of misty, and it was always kind of raining, but still had a damn good time. Despite the fact that I am now incredibly poor, because you would not believe how expensive Norway is, especially if you get a parking ticket on the first day you're there. That makes it worse.
Did you do that?
Yes. Park somewhere.
Park sensibly.
Park on the street, but then download one of the 8 different apps that you have to use to try and park in Norway.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's one of the things about travel that sort of goes under the radar, isn't it? It's about like knowing the rules of that country when you go in. It's quite difficult, isn't it?
It really is. It's something that you don't really think to prepare yourself for. Like, I have never driven a left-hand drive car before, but we rented a car, myself and Paige, and we were driving around Norway and utterly terrified because I've never driven a car from that side of the road before, on the wrong side of the car as well. And it was a brand new car, literally with like 5 miles on it. And the rules in Norway are completely different. Paige has just told me, no, Max has just told me that a lot of this isn't making it in. You just
called me, that bit is making it in.
Yeah, I just swapped Max's name for my girlfriend's name. That's cool, that'll go down well with Max's parents.
Who listen to every episode?
They do. We know they do. It's
yes.
adorable.
So do you, right?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
I do.
What was your favourite episode?
Probably the one with Joel.
Okay.
He tells some interesting stories. He's a very interesting man.
That was episode 29 of the podcast.
It was.
Yeah.
Many moons ago.
What were we talking about in that episode, Dan?
Blacksmithing.
He knows his stuff. Joel, we should do it.
I listened to it. I was there. I was there when it was recorded. Joel's here right now.
Every episode, Joel just sits in the corner and doesn't
Hello,
talk.
Joel. Joel's knocking through the window.
Through the window.
Hey, Joel.
We should do a My Generation podcast like quiz where we quiz people on things that have happened in episodes.
We should do a reunion episode where you get every single guest in.
Every guest.
How
many people would that be? That'd be like at
24?
This point. Well, including ones I have pre-recorded and not released yet. You are pushing like 40.
Good.
Maybe more.
You'll need more microphones.
Yeah, we've only got the 2 at the moment. Or you just get... we'd have to get microphones like sort of wider angle ones, like I've done where we've recorded episodes with bands and things. So.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to see a My Generation podcast episode where me and Dan and many others do a quiz, let me know in the comments below on whatever platform you're listening on. Because we're on SoundCloud now. I've been trying to set us up on Spotify. I think it's done. It should be done. So go to the description because it should be there.
Are we on Overcast or Apple Podcast yet?
We should be on Apple Podcasts very soon.
Good.
We're definitely going to be on Spotify by the time this is out.
I know Overcast is one of the biggest third-party clients, and if you're on Apple Podcasts, you will show up on Overcast, which is really good.
So you can listen wherever you want now. So if you're listening on YouTube, but you have other sort of platforms you usually listen to shows on, then that should be there now. And that's another plug for the podcast. Other things coming up on today's show as well. We've got local Kent musicians Vegisets, because as of March, we're now trying to put a musician in every single episode of the show, which is great news. And they're going to be on the show today with 2 of their songs called So Sweet and Lose Sight. And also Sammy Bacon. He's not going to be in this episode, but every single week from March onwards, he's going to be doing music reviews, a weekly album recommendation. Every single week, every episode, with every new guest we have, there's a new album to listen to. And that's all coming from, he's going to be one of the next guests we have on the show. So from his episode onwards, we're going to be having loads of new music, which is really cool. But today we've got Vegisets, so keep listening to the show to hear 2 of their incredible songs. But to go back to Dan, so Norway, what was your favourite part of being in Norway?
We went to like a huge range of different museums and art galleries, and just that exploring a new place and seeing what it has to offer, it was really great. Coming home, and finally being home was great, and we got delayed by something like 2 hours on the way home, and I got back at 3 o'clock this morning.
So we weren't even sure if you'd be here today for the show.
No, that's right. There was a genuine risk I'd still be in Norway queuing up at gate F19 at Oslo Airport.
But you're here now.
We're here now. Again, we've been recording for about 8.5 minutes now, and we have 30 seconds of usable footage, and it's all Max announcing what's coming up on the next podcast.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's just the punt for the other shows that you should be listening to.
Hey, Dan, what have you been up to lately? And moving on, we have...
With all this other great stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Dan's stories don't make it in.
No, but a good time in Oslo overall.
Absolutely. I would strongly recommend it to anyone that earns an awful lot of money and has time to spare in the summer.
And what other I say holidays. What other places have you been travelling over the past sort of 3 or 4 months?
Well, it's been the Christmas season, really. We're only sort of just coming into, February now. I did go to Norway. No, I didn't. I went to Madrid in November, which I think just about counts. Yeah. And that was for a friend's 30th birthday.
So Madrid was a good trip.
Madrid was a fantastic trip. We had a fantastic time exploring Madrid and going to a bunch of different historic landmarks and national parks and bits like that. And it was really good. I would recommend Madrid to just about anyone.
Just about anyone?
Just about anyone.
So what are some of the things that over the past couple of months, obviously you've travelled to lots of different places, that,
yes.
Some of the tips and tricks you'd offer to people who are travelling frequently, because you try and travel as much as you can. What advice would you give to people trying to sort of travel at the rate you are?
Show up at the airport early. Have your boarding pass with you. If you can possibly avoid hiring a car, avoid hiring a car. Do it once for the novelty of it and then never again. And after all this time, I've come back with 2 super basic pieces of information.
Where else have you been?
Well, in the last 3 months?
Yeah.
Christmas stuff. So, family, Kent, friends, stuff like that. That's good. It's been 2 nice long weekends away, which is a nice sort of break around this time of year.
Yeah.
It's much warmer places.
It's a long weekend, sort of the perfect amount of time as well.
It is. I don't like to sit idle when I'm on holiday. I like to get up and about and see what the place has to offer, see the sights and go to the attractions and all that sort of caper.
How do you find those? Do you sort of search for them online, or do you just sort of walk around and see where it takes you?
I like to try and have at least one day where it's just walking through the city centre or whatever's there and just seeing what that particular area has directly on those streets. Otherwise, it's literally TripAdvisor, sort by highest rated. That's it. And that comes up with just absolute gold. Stuff that's, huge, stuff that is very, very rarely visited, and everything in between. And it's pretty reliable, and it can always lead to you having a decent time out.
And do you usually try and find those places that people don't get to see?
It is nice to get off the beaten track a little bit. We didn't manage to do much of that in Norway because it was raining for at least half the time we were there, and it rarely got above 0. The whole place is covered in snow this time of year.
Wow.
And it was raining sideways when it was raining, and when it wasn't raining, it was snowing. So there wasn't much exploring on foot, but we did rack up about 200 miles in 3 days on the poor hire car that suffered a lot in the snow.
But I assume they're sort of designed to deal with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the recording era enters its 6th hour, we have perhaps 5 minutes of usable footage, and it's mostly still Max.
And that's at a stretch. It's like you probably haven't even been introduced yet.
What happens with these podcasts, ladies and gentlemen, is that we sit down and have a catch-up. Max tells me what's going on in his life, and it's all, it's all wonderful. And I tell Max what's going on in my life, and it can't go in the podcast. Max is laughing right now because he knows that is mostly what he's editing around. It was nice. Shout out to the new 2020 Toyota Yaris Hybrid. Mm-hmm. Good car.
Was that the hire car?
That was the hire car, yes.
And Madrid. What did you explore in Madrid?
We did a lot of exploring the city on foot. We saw one of the main cathedrals and the palace, and we saw at least one museum, but it's been a few months. I don't remember what that was.
I wish we filmed these episodes so we could see our reactions to this.
Our reactions are just terrible, as we are just constantly befuddled by each other. Just been, how do you not remember this? You were there.
Yeah,
you were there on foot.
My utter confusion when you ramble.
Yeah,
but that's why we bring him back every 13 episodes. Because
I'm so incredibly sorry. Max insists on bringing me back.
He hasn't even mentioned Factorio yet.
I mean, I was playing that earlier today and working on a 4 RPM Megabase, but there you go.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's just get an update.
The Factorio I mentioned, it's done. We're moving
on.
Yeah, I'm out.
You finished Factorio?
I have, yeah, more than once, but I'm done talking about it for now. Wait till next time.
Oh, and that's a tease for the next episode.
That's
we'll
a threat, yeah. That's absolutely going to happen. Well, I apologise in advance.
The thing is, the next episode you're on will be the 1-year anniversary. It'll be the final episode before we've done a whole year of podcasts.
Wow, we have got to get some of the previous guests in.
Absolutely. What guests are we bringing?
All of them.
Okay, that's all.
Everyone that answers the phone, yeah, bring them all in.
Bring them all.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
The 1-year anniversary.
Sit them all around a giant table.
Yeah. Yes. Sit them in like, we're at the Canterbury Christchurch University right now. Big ups to them for letting us use the space. We can just make use of a lecture hall, possibly. Have a microphone at the front.
Just one microphone for everyone.
Just one big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
Everyone will sound so distant. But that'd be pretty cool. Well, I'd like to know what your favourite episodes of the podcast have been, so that if we do get some guests back for that 1-year anniversary, we'll know who to bring back. And we'll invite loads of people back and maybe do some...
Absolutely. Hit us up on social media and tell us what your favourite episodes of the podcast have been.
Oh, do you remember episode 1? The very first episode.
A little bit. I remember us sitting down only about 100 feet from where we are now, with basic equipment and no plan, and just
that is true.
Talking at each other like robots for an hour and a half, and that turned into how much usable footage?
About 40 minutes.
About 40 minutes. Yeah,
it's the most I've ever cut out of an episode.
Yeah, it really was. It was the least freeform one we've ever done, and it was the most useful as far as Max is concerned.
Well, I mean, I did cut quite a lot out of that.
You did. You were still 1 for 2.
But that was a period of change in both of our lives. I mean, that was this podcast has become an interesting point. I mean, it's actually stuck out. We're at episode what now? What's this one?
39.
39.
Yeah.
That's a lot of conversations.
It is. We have sat here and chatted about our lives far too much already.
What's been happening in your life, Dan, over the past 3 months?
Nothing dramatic has changed. Just trying to survive January after Christmas, which is an absolute nightmare, and trying to get out to travel a little bit more. We've got Valentine's Day coming up, and that is all that's on my radar right now.
So, I mean, this episode's already come out, but what did you do for Valentine's Day? What are you planning to do?
It's going to be a staying in Valentine's Day.
Nice.
That's what it was, past tense, because that has already happened. And we had an excellent time. I'm pretty sure we watched a film. It might have been Home Alone, because that's the most romantic film of all time.
Very Christmassy.
Or 101 Dalmatians, who knows? Whatever film I got stuck with watching was wonderful, I'm sure. Shout out to Paige for her excellent film choice. Unless it was Frozen, in which case I'm mad.
I mean, we probably should shout out to Paige for... I mean, I saw she did that painting for you when it comes to films.
Yes, she painted me one of my favourite stills, actually, from The Shawshank Redemption.
And it's an amazing picture.
It's a superb picture done in African art style to show Red and Andy in a moment on top of the roof.
Yeah, it's a really great painting. Really talented.
Absolutely. She is a wonderfully talented artist.
Yeah, and you've both got a clear, very big passion for films.
Yeah, I have seen at least 5 films in my life. Yep.
Name them all. Name every film you've ever
Independence Day, Home Alone. Start with Independence Day, yeah. It's funny, the first film I can remember watching is at my dad's house in Konya. We watched Big Mama's House for some reason with Eddie Murphy. That's the first film I can ever remember seeing in my life. Except for maybe Bicentennial Man, which I think we walked out on.
You see, I think mine was Shark Boy and Lava Girl, if you remember that.
That was what, 2007?
No, it was like 2003 or 4.
Oh, God, I'm old.
We have this chat every time we see each
we
other.
We really
age.
do.
Yeah.
The next film I remember seeing is definitely Help, I'm a Fish, which was an excellent film.
I've never heard of this film.
Yeah.
Tell me about Help, I'm a Fish.
I think it's either a DreamWorks or like a Disney Pixar knockoff kind of sub-studio. And it's about it's like a group of kids who have a scientist for a father, and they live on a lab on a ship, and they drink a potion and they become fish, and it's a whole big deal, and they need to become unfish within a certain amount of time, or they're going to be fish forever.
They need to become unfish.
Yeah, they need to be people again.
Okay.
Presumably by drinking another potion. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Was that a good film?
I'd give that a 7.
A 7.
That was an okay film. You're going to hate this. I've seen a film lately that I thought was a 9, and I can't remember it now. Max is like, Dad has such a big passion for films. I have like 5 or 6 film DVDs in my house. I don't think I've watched any of them.
You only have 5.
One of them is Independence Day, which I know I've seen.
I
How did I get the DVD, Max?
3 of them are Independence Day.
I've got the Shawshank Redemption, I've got Rush, I've got Fast, Faster, Fastest, which is also Formula 1 history, or it might be Isle of Man TT history, who knows, it's some sort of motorsport documentary. And I've watched it, I'm sure, no idea what it is.
Yeah, I'm
sure it was great.
I have some DVDs, and I know that I bought 3 copies of the day after tomorrow.
Yes.
I have 3 copies of that at home. Mm-hmm. You know Harry Monday, you've met him.
Yes.
Yeah, Harry, lovely guest. We had him on the podcast a couple of weeks ago talking about swimming instructing.
Mm-hmm.
But Harry has more DVDs than anyone. He has the most DVDs. It's incredible.
How many shelves can he fill with his DVDs?
Picture every CEX you've ever seen.
Wow.
That. And none of them are repeats.
That's not bad. I know Paige has got just about every Disney film ever released.
I think Harry's at over 1,000 now.
Nice.
We did sort of talk about that in the second ever episode of the show,
mm-hmm.
Which was collecting, and I talked about Lego, and he talked about DVDs.
Yes.
Which was obviously a very fitting topic for an early podcast episode.
Yeah. Definitely a fitting topic for a podcast based purely on listening.
Yes.
And where you can't show anyone anything.
Well, we're going to be doing a Dungeons and Dragons episode soon.
Really?
We're actually going to play a game.
Who's that? Who's involved in
Connor
that?
Jenkins.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is how far in advance I pre-record things.
Yes.
There's another episode coming out where he's on about his modelling, because he does that full time.
Okay.
And in that episode, we were like, oh my God, let's just do live Dungeons and Dragons. And so
it's live. Oh no, Max, that's going to be
no. It's not going to be
rough.
live. It's not going to be coming out live on the show, but we're going to be recording it as we're playing it.
Yeah.
So one of his friends is preparing a story for us, and it's going to be a 2-hour story, and we're going to play it on the podcast, which is going to be interesting.
It's going to be real interesting. Are you going to put it up full format, or is that going to be edited down to its juiciest
I think we should
bits?
keep that raw.
Okay.
Because just let it. I mean, that's going to be a special episode, so...
Special is one word, yeah. It's going to be... it's going to be a brand new thing for the My Generation podcast.
Exactly, and that's at the point where I'm thinking about maybe introducing filming the episodes, like properly. But, with it being like a weekly show, and actually moving to bi-weekly soon.
Yes.
More information.
Now, Max, is bi-weekly twice a week or every 2 weeks?
No, twice a week. So
okay.
we're not halving the episodes, we're doubling them. So more information will be about that on the social medias very soon. But we're currently putting that into place, so for summer we can kick off bi-weekly episodes, so I don't just start doing it now when I can't actually do it.
Absolutely.
Because university and assignments and work.
Absolutely. I just have work to worry about.
Yeah.
But that's enough.
But work, is that going well?
Work is going well. I do support for payroll software, and the end of the tax year is coming. That's going to be April 5th, April 6th.
Yeah.
Is when tax year 2019 is out and tax year 2020 is in. And the run up to that is an enormous amount of additional work for us. But an enormous amount of additional workload for us. But I look forward to it. I welcome that with open arms, because it's going to be very high pressure, which I look forward to. And yeah, look forward to learning all about all sorts of issues that people are going to have.
I mean, I think we're both the same sort of when we work, right? We're like, we enjoy the busyness of it.
Yeah, it's like, bring the stress. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, I always overbook things. Like, if I've got a little pocket of free time, I'm like, yeah, let's fill it.
Yeah, let's put 2 things in that when I can only fit 1. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All the time. But
I try and be as busy and stressed as I can at work.
Well, not stressed, but I think busy is the word, where definitely got too much.
Mm-hmm.
But, it means more stuff gets done, and it means that, you don't slack, not much procrastination, because you just move on to the next cool thing.
Absolutely. There's no time to stop and procrastinate and enjoy yourself, because there's so much work to do.
Yeah, but I am enjoying myself when I'm doing it. So
absolutely.
It's like just constant. But
I'm lucky enough to have a fantastic set of colleagues to work with as well.
That's so important.
Who make the job pretty wonderful. And shout out to Shayla Wren, who is expecting a child. Congratulations. Woo!
Woo.
10 out of 10. Yeah. And the crowd goes mild.
You just said that on every episode.
Have I?
Yes.
You're kidding me.
You just said that on every single episode of the show.
I'm a broken record,
every
guys.
time we've
I'm
had
a
him on.
record, I tell you what.
Oh, but what you said about having a good team around you is quite important, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
Yeah, 100%. Makes the job very, very different.
Yeah, because you just collaborate and get on better. I'm quite happy with who I'm working with on film projects at university at the minute.
What have we got to do for the 1 year? We should do it outside. With all the wind noise on the
I've done
microphones.
2 episodes outside,
yeah.
And it's very obvious. No, 3. I've done 3. Mm-hmm. If you guess in the comments below which 3 episodes I have done outside, you'll get a signed shirt from Dan.
That's true.
And that's true, genuine.
It'll be one of my shirts, so it probably won't fit you.
I will do that, because if you can work out the 3 that are outside, then good luck.
Yep. Hope you look forward to receiving a 2XL t-shirt. Men's.
Oh, what a wholesome thing.
I know. As a team, we'll assign the shirt.
Yeah. The whole My Generation podcast team, me, myself, and I.
Max has so far conned me out of 4 shirts on this podcast, and he's going for a 5th. I think we should record one outside. How about top of Dover Castle?
Oh, yeah, because the wind.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. No, well, my H4 microphone, the Zoom H4n, really
Shout out to Zoom.
It's an incredible bit of kit. I've got sort of one of those wing covers for it.
Yes.
Genuinely incredible. Makes, I did some filming for a band called Renegade, and just having that wing cover makes all the sounds so clear. We could do a podcast at top of Dover Castle with that.
I mean, what is the spiritual home of the My Generation podcast?
What's the room that most of them are in?
The spiritual home. If the My Generation podcast was a person, where would it be?
Where would it be?
Yeah.
At the top of a mountain in...
Podcast on the top of Snowdon?
Is that where you want to do one?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure.
3 hours there.
3 hours.
2.5 hours back.
Yeah, worth it.
Totally worth it.
For a sound medium.
For a 1 hour podcast. Yes, for a sound. It's like, guys, look at the scenery. You absolutely can't. Well, you said you wanted to film one too. I
promise we're at the top of Snowdon right now.
We actually are. Yeah.
It's not like we're sat in a comfy studio.
I know this doesn't sound like it's a Skype call, but Max is on Snowdon and I'm on Kilimanjaro.
Oh, that's what we should do that as a Skype episode, because I actually worked out how to do that. Watch out for episode 46 of the show with
Max learns how to use Skype
with Kieran Poole.
Yeah,
incredible guest. Haven't finished editing that one yet, but he genuinely, very interesting guy. We talked about snooker. Dude, I love snooker. I want to meet Kieran. He does the podcasting for World Snooker Tour. That's fantastic. I've been trying to get Paige to play snooker, but she's like 6 inches shorter than me, and it can be a hassle for her trying to use the 8-foot cue. A very difficult sport if you started with pool. True. It's not an easy transition for me. So can you play? I can play. Yeah, the pocket to distance ratio is way off. Yeah. And it is a hassle for anyone who started on anything that isn't snooker. But yeah, I've played snooker. I like it. What's your highest break? 63. Wow, really? Oh wow, that even beats Kieran, and he was like, he's not bad.
It was only once, and other than that, I think it's mid-20s. I don't know what happened. I think I was playing against...
You got 63?
63.
In a game with someone?
Yeah. Somebody did a really rough break, and they hit like red number 3, I think it was, and actually pushed the whole triangle out to the corner pocket, so it was just...
Knock him in.
Yeah, bottom right, back for the black. Bottom right, back for the black, just constantly. And I think, yeah, pretty sure it was 63.
Wow.
My highest, apart from that, I genuinely think is mid-20s.
I love the fact that I'm referring to a story that isn't coming out for like 2 months.
Yeah.
But tune in with Kieran because he's a really interesting guest. That's cool though. I like that.
Yeah.
63.
I was really pleased with that.
I don't even know if I could like pot 5. Maybe.
I mean, that's normally the game I'm playing is how many can I pot.
But then when it comes to pool, it's a different story.
Max likes to play pool one-handed. He's trying to put his suave face on now. You can't tell. But Max is looking pretty smug right now behind that big purple microphone.
I am one of the most overconfident pool players you'll ever meet.
Max likes to shoot pool shots one-handed while looking the other way.
Yeah. I mean, I should probably put like a post up on that on the podcast page so people believe me that I do that.
You do. You're that much of a show-off. You really do.
But it's like it's the only thing where like because I don't take it that seriously. It's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Whereas if like it was a professional game or something, you'd sort of be being a bit disrespectful.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're get wrecked scrubs to everyone, at the social pool nights, that would be a little bit different.
Yeah, we do like a good social pool night.
When I was in Norway, we played. See, I said when really weirdly, and now I'm in my.
Weird.
Okay.
Take 12.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have screwed up this sentence so many times, I have put my glasses on, hoping that looking smarter will make me words good.
This bit is making it in.
Yeah. This is the part where Dan does not words good, and this goes on for some time. When I was in Norway, we played some mini-golf, and we went to this cool place that had laser sights in the actual club. So either side of the ball was a little laser dot, and you could use that to line the club up. And they had a smoke machine, so you could see where the lasers actually went along the course.
Wow.
And it was the absolute best. Big up to whatever mini golf club that was in Norway. Travel to Oslo. It's great. They have survival Kit Kats.
What?
They have survival Kit Kats.
Explain.
They have these things that look very much like Kit Kats made by some completely different company. I think they got there first. And the bars are like red, yellow, green. And I don't know what that means. But they are these giant like 4-finger Kit Kats that are... I don't know, I guess they're traditional for people that are out in the wilds. And if you open them up, they actually have a list of like survival tips inside the wrapper in every bar. And it's the weirdest little regional thing.
I imagine also it's got quite a few sort of local quirks and things that make it unique. What were some of the other ones you noticed when you were there?
Parking starts at about £6 an hour. So there's that. That's not cool. I noticed that straight away.
The whole time you were in Norway was the car parking.
I mean, what I kept noticing was how expensive everything is. Okay. You're looking at like £8 for a sandwich. Otherwise, all the houses, this is the weirdest thing to notice, right? But all of the houses are not joined together, which is fine. They've been built on separate plots. They're all like at a different angle. They could be like a regular...
So they're not in rows?
No, they're along the side of the road, and they're all set back from the road to a different degree. Some of them will be really close to the road, i.e. like with a short front path, and some of them will be 30 feet back, and they'll all be twisted to a different angle. So even if it's got like a rectangular footprint, they will be twisted a different way around, which is really peculiar.
Very interesting.
And a lot of them have like balconies and verandas, which like in a country where the average temperature is in the low single figures, really strikes me as odd. But then when you get as little sun as they do in the winter, I suppose you've got to make the most of it.
But so what's the reason for that?
I have no idea. I have yet to look that up. I got in at 3 o'clock this morning, and it's been a bit of a blur.
Yeah.
But I intend to find out. That is a very odd little quirk. I will report back in the yearly anniversary.
That'll be my first question on the show.
Like, Dan, please tell me why the houses in Norway don't line up.
And you better know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise,
he's literally going to get my podcast contract and rip it up in front of me.
So, also, Dan will be bringing his Connect 4. Oh my god.
Yes, my Connect 4 models.
His Connect models that he promised, the French Renaissance buildings from episode 2.
I mean, I absolutely won't, but sure.
Sure.
Moving
on to music. We're
So no one told you life was gonna be this
We're gonna
way.
get demonetized.
Because I'm too perfect.
When we're acting like we even get monetized on this show.
Get monetized.
Get monetized hashtag. Put it in the comments. So we're moving on to the music feature for this week's episode. It's Vegasets. They are a local Kent artist who are on the show with 2 songs today. They are a 5-piece alt-rock band from Dover, Kent, formed at the end of 2016. They were just a group of 4 friends that decided to get together and play the songs they loved growing up, such covers from The Hives, The Subways, Muse, Weezer, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, to name a few. And here on the My Generation podcast is their song, So Sweet.
And we're back.
And that was Vegesets with So Sweet here on the My Generation podcast. What do you think of the song, Dan?
I think that was probably their best original song.
It's amazing.
That's pretty great.
And we're going to have them back at the end of the show as well with their other song, Lose Sight.
Absolutely.
We need to do a try not to laugh challenge on this show. We really do. Cause
Max does put a lot of faces while I'm telling stories over here.
Because I end all of the episodes I do with you in tears.
I'm that difficult to work with as a guest.
I mean, no, I didn't say that.
I said that.
Yeah, true. Dan's now resorted to just being on his phone. So.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that.
Yeah, not that you can see.
I forgot about not being on my phone on a podcast. To be fair, this is not a visual thing. Do you know, when we did the Christmas episode, I was never more conscious of like what I was doing with my hands or where I was looking. And even then, I look back at that episode, I'm like, why are you staring at the lights? And then I'm back in the studio here, and I'm like, oh yeah, the lights are cool, actually. I'll stare at them some more.
But we're in a different studio to that episode. This podcast is brought to you by an actual studio space.
Actual studio space.
Yeah.
Bringing you the studio space.
With brilliant acoustics, so you can hear the sound of Dan's beautiful voice in glorious...
As I drink from my bottle of censored name water.
Not after last time.
No. Shout out to Evian. How many followers are you up to now on YouTube?
As of the time of recording, we're sitting pretty on 53, which is...
nice.
I'm pretty happy with.
53,000 or 53?
53.
Okay.
53
That's good.
Subscribers. Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
We'll start a Patreon. I think Joe recommended it.
Oh, that's great, actually. We can get
Joe is going to be back on the show soon. Oh, we could do a merch line.
Yes, I was thinking we can get some shirts out.
Yeah.
So you can stop calling me out of shirts.
Yeah. Dan's running out of shirts. He's down to
I am genuinely running out of shirts.
Why?
Because you keep making me give them away in these signed things. I'm down 5 T-shirts, Max.
We're saying this like we've not done one signing.
And now he's trying to just deny that it ever happens. Then I work with you.
We're so sarcastic when we're on the show together and compared to all the other episodes where they're really serious, people probably don't know what's real.
A joke? Yeah, absolutely. I'm a broken record, dude. Oh my god.
We should have stopped after one.
You should just do a montage of all the things I say in every single episode, and it will still be the same length as a normal episode.
Loud and Proud is pretty up there.
Absolutely. I got my phone out to look something up, and I can't remember what it was.
So that's what Dan and I have to say so far about travelling. But do you have a story to tell about the subject? If so, feel free to leave us a comment on YouTube, or you can contact the Facebook page at the My Generation Podcast, where we'll be featuring your comments over the next few episodes. So please get them to us. Anything so that Dan doesn't speak any further on the show.
Mm-hmm. If you want a signed shirt, do that.
Yeah. Guess what 3 episodes of the show were done outside?
Yes.
For a signed shirt.
Mm-hmm. This is not one of them. There's a free clue.
What's going to happen is when this podcast eventually goes viral, is someone's going to come back to this episode.
Someone's going to look back at this episode of me saying, I think...
So now I'm going to tease a few more topics we've got coming up on the podcast. We've got Sammy Bacon, our local Kent music enthusiast. He'll be having a weekly segment on the show starting at the end of March. But his official episode with just me and him, that's coming out next week. We've got an episode where I talk on my own just about what it's like being by the sea. And Enna, she is an actress, Enna Begovic. She's going to be talking about what it's like working within film and theatre. And Charlie Hedges, he's a cinematographer. And we're going to be talking to him about what it's like doing camera work and all things cinematography. All that and more to come up on the podcast. Dan, what are you most excited about?
Well, I'm looking up this podcast on Overcast. And hey, I think I see it. No.
We're not...
There's a lot of different podcasts called My Generation Podcast.
Well, that bit's not making it in.
But we're the original and the best. There's one that's weirdly similar to what's going on now. It's father and son who are passionate about talking what they like, hate, and can tolerate from each other's generation. That's pretty much what's going on here.
What, are we father and son?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What? So, Dan, local impact.
Yes.
We're talking travel.
Yes.
If you're based in Kent, what's the best place to travel in Kent?
Where's Rye? No, Rye's still in Kent.
What are the best places you've travelled in Kent? The beautiful Garden of England.
The beautiful Garden of England. I mean, I would probably have to say somewhere in the Downs.
Mm?
Yeah, somewhere at the top of the Weald. Something like that would be really nice. There are parts of Lenham that are quite attractive. Headcorn's quite nice. Headcorn and Tenterden are both beautiful places to look at. I think Rye, which is nearby, that's in East Sussex just about, that is particularly beautiful.
almost made it through our whole sentence without saying anything I had to cut.
Ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to point out we have been recording for 47 minutes and we have just made it through the first full monologue of mine that doesn't have to be cut.
No, it still does.
Well, not much.
We try.
So sad. I try. You just cut.
I wonder how these episodes sound compared to the others.
Appalling. And once again, I'm very sorry. I don't know why he makes me do this. But if you want a shirt, do the thing that we said earlier.
Merch line coming soon.
We should definitely have some My Generation mugs. I'll tell you what, if you get the mugs made, I'll hand them out at work.
Okay.
I will put them in the cupboard at work and we'll get them in rotation. And then people will look up the podcast and listen to it and go to it.
Perfect.
And find my name and realise that I'm the one that planted the mugs. Why did you put all these mugs in the office? I'm like, ha ha ha. Promotion.
This is the most passive-aggressive form of marketing.
Get some pens. I'll put them around the office. We've got like 60 people on our floor alone.
I mean, if they all subscribe to the show, we would have double the subscribers.
That's pretty great. I mean, I am already the Easter Bunny at work.
You're the Easter Bunny?
Yeah, I'm sure this has already gone past. I'm sure I did this again very recently, but what I like to do is get in very early on Easter and leave little chocolate eggs everywhere.
That's very cute.
I'm the Easter Bunny.
Well, because they have to go and find the Easter, chocolate that you've left
Yeah,
there.
I put about 340 in last year, which took about an hour.
Oh my God.
And I was still finding them in obscure places. As recently as a month ago. Recently as January, I was still finding them, yeah.
What, from last year?
Yeah. They're still in date. They're still good.
Well, hopefully you've inspired someone for, Easter's to come.
I hope so. That's the dream. I am the Easter Bunny. I have to carry on my lineage somehow. I've got to pass it on to the next generation.
How have you been both the Squirrel Whisperer and the Easter Bunny?
I like small mammals, what can I say?
You've lived quite the life.
I haven't been the Squirrel Whisperer for some time, but I did go back to Moat Park and I rescued a pigeon.
How?
Me and Paige went there just to walk around and feed birds and that. And there was a pigeon flapping around in the water. And pigeons aren't waterproof. Like pigeons can't swim like ducks can. They're just made of a different kind of feather. And when they get in the water, they just get waterlogged and they start to sink. So this pigeon was like flapping around in the water, just trying to keep afloat. And I had to like lay on the concrete and pick him up out of the water. And it was all covered in like dirt and stuff. And it was all soaking wet through. And so I took Paige's scarf and I wrapped him up in it. And we just sat on a bench looking after this pigeon, waiting until he warmed. Like I tried to dry him with it a little bit. And we named him Pidge. And we looked after him for about 20 minutes. And eventually he was warm enough to flap a little bit, which dried him out. And he walked away. And he walked straight into the lake and I had to do it again. Yeah. I kid you not. Well, within about 90 seconds, I heard like splash, splash, splash. I'm like, what's that? And it was Pidge. He was in the water again, flapping around like a moron. Just a pigeon who got absolutely no sense of self-preservation.
Somehow that's the best story that's come out of this episode.
On a Paige, give me the scarf. I had to like lay on the ground again, reach down and pick him out of the water, and dry this stupid pigeon again. But there you go.
What a wholesome story. Now I'll be going back to Dan in just a moment to wrap up this week's episode of the My Generation podcast, but there are future topics we still want to talk to people about. I would love to speak to a sound designer here on the show.
So that we can fix this hot mess we've got currently.
So if you're between the ages of 18 and 35 and you live in the area of Kent, please get in touch with the show, or you can contact the Facebook page. The people only want... Don't
put that in, that's terrible.
The people definitely want uncut Max and Dan, because there's so much of this is getting cut, man. We're going back to the musicians. It's Vegasets. They were on the show earlier. There are 5 people.
They're actually 5 Beatles playing a little string band. They're like the Star Wars cantina people in like fly costumes and stuff.
I'm so sorry to Vegasets. They're such a good band.
Their original song from earlier was really good. Lose Sight. That was really good.
No, that was so sweet. Lose Sight's the next one.
Damn it.
So
okay, just shuffle that in.
So
put that in from earlier.
So they're a 5-piece rock band from Kent, and we're playing their song Lose Sight now on the show. So here on the My Generation podcast is Vegasets with their song. What's their song called, Dan?
Lose Sight.
Bring me down to where you wanna be.
Lose Sight by Veggie Sets on the My Generation podcast. Please follow all their links in the description below. Please go and support this incredible local Kent band. So, Dan.
Yes.
What do you think you've learned by talking about travel on this week's episode of the show?
I think I have slowly recovered from my sleep deprivation, and I feel like that's let me put things into perspective. I don't know that I'll go back to Oslo anytime soon, but I'd like to go to, I think, Italy next. Italy would be a good one.
And where else are you thinking? So Italy...
I want to go back to Mount Snowdon. I want to climb that every year. I enjoy that.
Oh, wow. What do you enjoy so much about it?
There's nothing there, but like you are there at whatever it is, like 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and there's just you, a giant challenge, and all the time in the world. Well, crack on. Let's go.
And
I like that. It's satisfying.
It was quite a fulfilling one for you. Have you ever done it with someone else, or did you just do it on your own?
I had to go with Paige, and we didn't make it to the top that particular time. We got to the halfway house and decided to call it quits there. And it was still very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. It was nice to be able to like point out things that I'd seen before and all the different bits. There's a lot of like wildlife and all that sort of stuff in the area. And it was beautiful, and I'd happily do it again, hopefully soon.
Very soon. Well, Dan, we're going to have you back on the podcast for the anniversary episode.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'll say that again. I fudged that a little bit. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's nearly over.
It is.
I mean...
We always said this was going to be a 1-year project for you, and we're pretty much there, so...
But yeah, I've got episodes that are already planned into the new year.
Yeah.
The My Generation podcast goes beyond 1 year.
What are you going to do for the 1 year?
Talk to you about the past year.
Okay.
As a whole.
Okay.
Maybe get some of the other guests back. That could be quite cool.
Yeah,
Bringing in guests that like haven't met each other before.
Are you not going to do just like a clip show?
No.
A highlights reel?
No. I'll do that for the first episode of every annual year.
Okay.
Sort of sum up the year.
As opposed to a My Generation year, which is different.
Yes. So there's the year that we were established. So in June, we'll do a, celebration of a year with a guest. But then January, first episode of January, we'll do like a clip format, some of the best moments.
I think doing a live one would be good, because then you'll actually realise how many times I nod at Max over the microphones, and nobody notices because it's not recorded.
Exactly. If I've got a really cool episode planned for episode 100, that's going to be really cool.
Excellent.
I mean, this is episode number 39.
This is definitely 39, yeah.
But because I've been pre-recording some of the other episodes, I've already got big plans for episode 100.
Woohoo!
Which is pretty cool.
What are you up to? How many episodes ahead are you?
Let's not.
Is it that bad?
Yeah.
Is that why you're doing it biannually? Because you're like, I have 3 years worth of podcasts right now. Gonna have to shovel some of these out as quick as I can.
No, I could just stop doing the podcast and be fine for like the next 6 or 7 years. No, that's not true. Well, no, we're introducing a new section in summer to help with the bi-weekly stuff. Because I'm going to be doing one episode with a guest on Thursdays, and one episode just as a solo episode on Sunday evenings.
Wonderful.
So we get a nice balance on the podcast. A new guest every Thursday, and that's going to have a music or film feature and a band every single week along with the guest. But then also you're going to have Sunday night episodes where, Dan's just taking photos of me now off camera. Paparazzi here. Are you texting me?
I'm in the group chat. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen, is that me and Max are late for dinner. And the person that we're going to dinner with has just asked if we've arrived at the restaurant yet. And the answer is no, we're still in a recording studio.
You've taken the photo of me that's exactly the same as the one I took of you, by the way.
With the microphone in front of the face, looking like a complete tool. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one you've seen with the social media.
And if I've never heard a better advert for the show
than us two talking at each other about nothing for another hour.
Well, something's got to get us to the hour mark.
Something's got to give, my friend.
Yeah, because,
We're at 58 minutes. What do we talk about now?
Oh, well, we've done top 10 lists.
We have done top 10.
There's nothing... Try not to laugh. No, we will make a try not to laugh episode, but it's not this.
I very much look forward to the try not to laugh episode. That's going to be good fun.
But it will just be moments from our podcast, but other people have to listen to them.
We could do Innuendo Bingo from Radio 1. You ever seen that?
Yes, that is so much fun.
The contestants have to
Innuendo Bingo
take a drink of water.
Amazing.
Yeah, and hold it in their mouth while they read a funny news clip.
It's incredible.
That's super suggestive. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to do that for episode 100.
No, I've got episode 100 planned.
Okay.
But big plans.
End of podcast.
Thanks for coming on the show, Dan.
Cut, it just stops.
Thanks for coming on the show, Dan.
We'll leave that in. That's flub number 300. Thanks very much for having me again. Max and I are now both looking at our phones, trying to sort out this dinner situation. Trying to pretend that we're not.
We're just pretending that we're on our way there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to message now. On the way now, smiley face. I'm definitely not still sitting in the studio recording this.
Further from the truth.
No, not. Absolutely.
Luckily, that person will not listen to this.
No, they won't.
Which is good, and it comes right at the end. So, Dan, thank you for coming back on the show. We'll tune in with you for episode 52 to sum up what's been happening in the last great old year of
Absolutely.
life.
I look forward to being there.
It's been a good year.
It's been a wonderful year.
Beautiful. And we
quick, we're late for dinner.
Sammy, Anna, and Charlie are the next 3 guests we've got coming up on the show. I've got to go to dinner. So's Dan. We'll tune in with you next Thursday for Sammy's episode.
And it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from Max.
And it's goodbye from him.